Okay, welcome back. I feel like I should share a story that is not pest control. I feel like the last several examples have all been from pest control. This one is related, but it actually has to do with holiday lighting. Essentially, what we did for holiday lighting is we would take a homeowner who wanted Christmas lights hung on their house. They either didn't want to do it themselves, but they wanted something that wasn't just like Walmart style Christmas lights. They wanted something a little more custom where they could pick the colors, it was sharper, more custom. That was our client. And I remember I felt way more dialed in at this point in the business. I had worked in Utah and really gotten our systems a lot better. But then I decided I wanted to scale a little bit. I was ready to move out of Utah, try another market. I moved to Indiana right before holiday lighting season, and I had I had everything documented. I had KPIs, critical drivers, SOPs. I was kind of set. And this was just a perfect example for me to test it out for myself, make sure that I can meet my margins. The SOPs worked out on different style home in a different market. And I just wanted to test the scalability. So I assigned this to me for about like 2 weeks until I got like super burned out because I was doing holiday lighting by myself. Holiday lighting is really a 2 or a 3 person crew position. It's very, very difficult to go hang Christmas lights by yourself, climbing up and down ladders, getting on and off of roofs, going back to the vehicle and getting light bulbs, so I realized, okay, I need to assign out this job description. And so I sent out some ads, and I just got, honestly, I felt just super, super lucky. I know everyone knows how hard hiring is, or they have a lot of fear behind hiring because they've heard horror stories of hiring. But I just had someone come in to my house. I didn't have an office at the time. And I sat down with him and I just kind of went through the job description, went through the SOP, kind of gave an idea of, okay, here's how much footage I want you to do every hour that you're working. I'll train you how to do this. And I started talking about my why, and why I moved to Indiana, why I was doing what I was doing, that it was part of me becoming a better person. And I asked him what his why was, and he didn't know. He's like, you know what, I have a girlfriend, and I just want to live a good life. I want to be in a position where I like coming to work and it's not toxic. And I sat back and I'm like, this guy's why is not the same as my why. Like, I don't know if I need to hire this guy. Like, I don't know if he's the right guy. I think I need to go try to find someone else whose why is the same as my why, so that we can go tackle the world together. And I realized that I may not find that person. And this was the first kind of light bulb moment for me. It isn't important that the people that you assign this to have your same why, but it is important that their why aligns with your why. It just can't be in opposition. There can't be friction and on your guys' whys. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger, and it was a great hire. In fact, this person is still working for Daniel to this day, or at least to the day that I recorded this. And he's done an amazing job. He's now manager. He's not just an entry-level holiday lighting person for the company. And so I went through, I signed it, I trained this guy, went through everything that worked out really well. But then I wanted to, just because it's my personality in business, I like to remove myself. I like assigning, delegating, or automating rather than doing myself. I was the second person. So after I trained this person, I told him, hey, I'm going to hire someone else. So I went through the same exact system. I got super lucky the first time, figured I would get super lucky the second time. I was thinking at the time, man, Indiana has the best labor market of anyone, you know? And this time I did a bunch of interviews, and ultimately had this guy who had an amazing skill set. He was really good on ladders, really good on roofs. I was excited to hire him. I asked him what his why was. And this was the first time where I just kind of felt a little bit of friction in the whys. You know, he really was just looking for money. Didn't really care about the culture of a company, didn't really care about growing the business, didn't really care about customers. And these weren't things that he was saying. In fact, he was saying he cared about these things, but I felt inside, based on the conversation, that our whys were just in opposition. But at the same time, he had the abilities. In fact, the first person I hired, I didn't know if he had the ability or not. So I did what I recommended, and I hired him on a trial basis. And we went through, and fortunately, he was able to actually do the things on the SOPs and do them efficiently and effectively enough to meet the critical drivers and effectively hit our KPI goal. But this other guy, I knew that he had the ability, but his why was just off. But I went ahead and I hired him anyway. And what happened? Nothing for a while. Like, everything was super smooth. I'd ask the first person I hired, how is the second guy? And he's like, yeah, he does a great job. And after a week or two, I started realizing that the first person started, his performance started to suffer. And so I approached him. I said, hey, what's going on? And he's like, I don't want to be like anyone ratting anyone else out, but I just, this other guy, he's just really draining on me. Like, he doesn't want to be at work. He is doing the job, and he's actually hitting the goals, and he is doing it the right way, but he's just really wearing on me. And it was a moment where I realized that assigning is not enough. In fact, assigning an SOP and a critical driver to someone that can actually perform also is not enough. It is important that your whys align. So what ended up happening is I ignored that feedback for another week or two until we started getting some calls from customers. And the calls were just weird. They were calling in happy and unhappy at the same time. Hey, you guys did a great job on our Christmas lights. You came exactly when you told me you were going to come. You guys did a great job. It was done very effectively, very efficiently. But I just wanted to call because something just felt impersonal. Like, one of the guys he hired, he kind of just felt like a zombie. And I just wanted to let you know, like, it just kind of felt weird. And I was like, okay, that's good to know. Until I got multiple calls from customers. And remember, these were customers that before I hired these guys, I personally was dealing with. So they trusted me, right? They were calling my cell phone and giving me this feedback. And they're like, you did such a great job. I just don't want it to feel like it's going the wrong direction. So I wanted to let you know. And so I pulled this guy in, and I was going through the SOPs, I was going through the critical drivers, and he wasn't doing anything wrong. And so I was at conflict. What do I do? Ultimately, I ended up letting this person go, even though he was doing everything right, because his why didn't align with my why. That is a culture issue. And you will find, as a business owner, people that their whys don't align, but they can accomplish the SOP and meet the critical driver goal flawlessly. And those are the hardest ones to let go. But I promise you that as you do that, the culture within your company, that momentum will build, and it will attract the right people that you want, even if they don't necessarily have the ability in the beginning to move your company forward. And if you hire on just ability rather than having someone that aligns with your why, it will halt your business. You will not be able to progress that business any further. And if you do feel like you're progressing it further, you will hit a wall eventually. And so anyway, I just wanted to share that story to show that assigning is obviously powerful, but it's not just assigning. It's not just a checklist. It's really important that you assign to the right person that is promoting your brand, promoting your culture, has the ability, and moving the business in the right direction.